Last episode saw the beginning of a great two-parter. Today might see it end. Hello everyone, and welcome to Outta 10 with your hosts. I'm Ollie, and this is...
Glenn, hello.
That's Glenn. Hello Glenn, this is a vague attempt at podcasting by some guys. And girls sometimes. It depends on the day.
We let them in the club.
It's not quite Horrid Henry. Don't worry.
No.
We did have Anna as a guest on our last show, but unfortunately she couldn't make it in today because her Slovene expertise have been called upon by the government. She's now a key worker, so she's doing that. So World War III. We don't have much to say. I think if you haven't seen the first part of this episode, you're an idiot. Just watch it.
Yeah, or watch our watch through of it, which I'm sure will be much more exciting and way more informative.
And if it was your first time watching it, it'd be really weird.
Yeah, if it's your first time watching it, maybe don't do that because literally everything we say is just references to other things. We're not very useful, really, are we?
I actually do think it's our most useful podcast so far. So maybe this will be the real gold dust. Should we just start the watch through?
Maybe. I think maybe we should probably clarify what's happened, though, just on the off chance that an idiot is watching this and doesn't care that they haven't seen the first part of a very two-parter episode.
Fair enough.
I may have just argued with myself.
Pleasure. Yeah, do what you want.
It's a good point. Okay, look. I know. I'm gonna do it. Okay, so an alien mobster family chucked a pig in a pretend spaceship, and they threw it through Big Ben, and then they farted on Churchill. And then they made some arse jokes, and then they tried to do some Spider-Man electric web stuff to the Doctor. Is that good enough?
That's pretty
Summary?
decent.
Yeah, I'd say that summarises it. Excellent. And
okay.
Yes.
Come on, Glenn. Let's go into the thick of it. What's that coming over and hitting Big Ben?
Is it a monster?
No, it's a mermaid. Oh, hello.
We know who you are.
We know who you are.
I was Prime Minister now.
No, you just had a sugar.
Oh.
Imagine if it was that easy to be made Prime Minister. I guess it was that easy to go to war in Iraq, wasn't it? Oh gosh, should we go? There's some weapons. Fine.
They'll help to identify the bodies.
Oh, how's he going to get out of this?
I love how they just extend the scene though, rather than going to the credits straight away.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Do they sometimes nowadays, do they go to the credits straight away?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pigs.
Oh.
Oh.
You don't know who I am now.
Humans, maybe. It's Electro.
Doesn't really explain why it's made the other guy go electric, but I mean, whatever.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
Literally, none of that made any sense.
No, but it was cool. I don't know. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, deadly to humans, maybe. So why isn't it deadly to you? I don't get it. And why is it deadly to the Slovene?
Oh, look, it's by Russell T Davies.
Oh, bring him back.
Yeah. This episode is actually about the third coming of Jesus. Jackie's got with that Slovene. She's like, I've got this green thing in my kitchen. Anything could happen. Oh, Mickey. The way they talk is Slovene's so grim. It sounds like they're like gargling soup.
Yeah. However, it is weird that they sound like their previous victim, even though they can have anyone they sit inside.
Oh, that's horrible. As if this bit happens now. Imagine if Harriet Jones got changed. That'd be mental.
Upper floors are under quarantine.
Well, we know how that feels.
You will disregard all previous
Yeah.
instructions. You will take your orders
It's the lockdown episode.
Yeah.
I need to be naked.
Oh, that is the best thing I've ever seen.
Your body is magnificent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
I feel that. Are you listening, guys? This is a really important message to be hearing.
Yeah.
In our troubled times.
I mean, to be fair, there's never been a better time to never wear clothes because no one's seeing you. Like, so
There's
why
some
not?
solid logic there, unless you have to have any windows.
Imagine having like a little Slovene pulley toy, all the stuff it would say. I need to be naked. Rejoice in it. Go on, you do it.
Your body is magnificent. Yeah, it's like a self-help toy.
Yeah.
It is good to have.
They need to bring these out now.
Well, here comes the squatting I was talking about. Oh my
Uh,
Why? I don't understand.
Yeah, that's my face right now.
It's like,
No girl. Stay away.
old? How fucking
Yeah,
dare
they're
you?
so rude about her. They're like, oh, she's really ugly. She's probably not even a good actress. Like, Shaun of the Dead's the only thing she ever did. She'd be a good prime minister, you know. As she's ready to like give her life to help people,
Yeah.
to help chavs.
Oh no! Vinegar and curtains are my weakness.
Yeah,
How did you know?
she'd hug a hoodie, wouldn't she?
You... What?
That's like a thing that was like a David Cameron era thing
Oh,
about being
man.
nice to chavs. Hug a hoodie.
1730 was occupied by a Mr. Chicken. Nice man.
I always forget that's in this episode, but it's always great.
Recession and in danger.
I wonder what Mr. Chicken was like. If anyone wants to leave some comments in the comment section about Mr. Chicken, go ahead.
I'm expecting a Big Finish story on it.
Yeah, oh, Mr. Chicken. Yeah. Well, you know, there's a Big Finish companion who's a penguin. Oh,
There
it's
are the
bin.
bins. There
Yes!
are the bins.
He loves bins.
Oh, stay here. So this has now become Scooby-Doo.
Hey.
There we go.
Any word on
Still
Franz
all is.
Ferdinand yet? Oh.
Some more people who are suspiciously fat. I wonder if that's
I just
relevant.
thought- I love how normal this is for them. Oh, they're such an underrated species. They're so interesting.
Ugh. But they do get on so well. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Anything stronger?
It's such a shame that they're such a model family.
They juxtapose Rose's family. Noel Clark must work out. He looks decent.
Oh wow, that's an even more awkward hug than the Voldemort Draco Malfoy one. Ugh.
My legs. You know when they do Jackie Big Finish, that'll be amazing.
I never asked his name.
You're too busy telling everyone your name, weren't you?
Yeah, showing your ID card.
Yeah. Didn't help to identify your body, did it?
No, saved your own skin. Christ.
Yeah. Bloody poo.
Launch a nuclear bomb at them.
You're a very violent young woman. Well, there's no like
Yay, chav.
Nuclear strikes do need a release code, yeah. The British Isles can't gain access to atomic weapons without a special resolution from the UN.
Imagine if she said
Exactly,
atomic
from our
kitten.
past record, and I voted against that. Thank you very much. The codes have been taken
All right,
out of the
Russell.
government's hands and given to the UN.
Yeah.
He's basically just transposing himself into
If
Harriet
only what
Jones.
the Slovene wanted.
Yeah, he's not so stupid after all.
He's just got his 12 times tables.
Yeah, thanks, Rose. I did this earlier. He did shit all. What did he do? He threw a chair at it. Brilliant. He broke a really good chair.
More to the point, it wanted to kill us.
I love how he's got drawings of the TARDIS in his room. He like sat there with like a crayon drawing a TARDIS. Look. Why should I? What have you emailed me?
Have you seen my emails?
Yeah.
It says password.
Oh.
Say again. For the password. Buffalo, 2Fs, 1L.
I love how he said it twice. I love how they didn't edit that out.
Tallulah. 3 L's in
Password.
his
Say that
name.
again. It needs the password. Okay.
What?
If that was Chibnall, he'd explain how to do a safe password.
Oh, at least I'm trying.
This episode feels so different to the last episode.
It's very confined. It's a very Moffat-y episode in a lot of
It
ways.
is, and they just
It's
have
the
to solve
entire
the
world
problems.
in basically 2 rooms.
Yeah, it's true actually.
And it's also very detective-based about them trying to deduce things, which is a very also Moffat thing.
You're very right. So,
Surprisingly.
but it's surprising because the first half of the episode is
Was all
like,
politics and
and
mental
huge
and ridiculous.
and like
yeah,
pop Doctor Who, and now we've got this.
absolutely.
I'm fine.
Yes, I used a condom.
Will she always be
I have
safe?
no plans to genocide human beings. Don't worry,
Yeah.
but I can't promise anything. No.
No.
That's not me. Go and see who that is.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Or go and tell them that.
It's probably Jehovah's Witnesses.
Into space.
Yeah.
Who's it for?
So I'm trying to nuke someone. Do you mind?
Yeah, do you mind? Come on. I don't want to hear about the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Mrs. Tyler.
Oh, thank God, it's not.
Oh yeah.
It's just an alien. Oh, thank God for that.
So rude. Look how his face. He's loving taking that off.
Yeah.
Like he makes it kind of a sexy thing.
It's like taking off like socks after you've been for a run. It's like, oh, that's nice.
Yes. Yes.
Supposed to be the expert. Think of something.
Oh my goodness, she's mean.
Here's Slitheen.
They hunt like
That
it's a
doesn't
ritual.
work.
Wait a minute. Did you notice when they fart? If you'll pardon the word, it doesn't just smell like a fart. If you'll pardon the word, it's something else. What is it? It's more like bad breath. That's it.
Calcium decay. Now that narrows it down.
Sunlight. That's it. Devil Snare hates sunlight. That's what it really reminds me of.
Creatures made
So many Harry Potter references this week.
What else? Vinegar.
Just like Hannibal.
Now, which Hannibal do they mean? I believe they mean the explorer, right?
So we're supposed to give it a
Or was it like an
lobotomy.
opera or something. Yeah, exactly. Like Hannibal.
Yeah. Okay.
We should
Skin him.
Well, to be fair, Hannibal does wear other people's faces.
Yeah. He skins people. There you go.
I love how he farts it out. Oh, yay!
Oh,
So it's just pot noodle.
well, probably tastes better.
Hannibal crossed the Alps by dissolving boulders with vinegar.
How much vinegar did they need?
Well, there you go then.
Yeah.
Fucking hell! Have you seen the Alps?
The thing is, it would have been to like eat his like finger chips.
Classic
you
bit
know,
of
when he was meeting people.
classic bit of continuity there. The Doctor hates wine.
Yeah.
Classic.
Apart from Jump Out, where he thinks it's the best thing ever.
Oh well, he's a drunk. You know, he spends the most amount of time on Earth, so he gets used to it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that like that doctor took heroin.
Come on, he's been around the universe. He must have had a lot of performance-enhancing drugs over his life.
From this moment on,
So this moment is very much like the whole Iraq war scare thing, you know. You have to let me go to war. They've got weapons of mass destruction. We have to make this decision in like, you know, so many hours. That moment
He
is...
just invented it.
Do you think they'll
See,
believe it
well,
like they did
maybe
last
this
time?
is...
That's why this
Oh, there's so much messaging in this
They want
episode.
the whole world panicking because you lot, you get scared, you lash out.
They release a defense
Yeah,
code.
and then you go to Iraq and overthrow dictators. I mean, you know, overthrowing dictators is probably a good thing. But you didn't leave the system, did you?
Release the missile.
Well, they just sat there the whole
Not to
time.
space 'cause there's nothing there. You attack
They're probably
every
guarding
other
the door,
country on
yeah.
Earth. They retaliate, fight
Do they need
back.
three of them?
World War
It is.
III,
And
the whole
Margaret?
world gets new.
You know she's called Margaret, yeah?
Yeah.
Like Margaret Thatcher, and she's got a blue suit,
Not crashed.
Oh no.
and she's got the same colour hair. Look,
2 minutes away.
the
And
haircut's
she's
very
also
similar.
a heartless
This
bitch.
beautiful place.
Profit. That's what I signaled.
It makes
And-
so much sense.
And she abuses later on in the series. She'll do some really like horrible things to workers. You know, when she's making them build those self-destruct places. She wants to, you know, get molten slag. I'm pretty sure there's a link with mining here.
I wish Maggie would have looked into the heart of the TARDIS. Turn her into an egg.
She was a bad egg, that one.
Yeah, she was about it.
But you know,
Milk
did
snatcher.
she, but a milk snatcher.
Yes.
It's because she couldn't drink like anything with vinegar in it. You know, it had to be just dairy.
Yeah.
She's, you know,
What an absolute
They-
pig.
they love their farmers, these Slovene, don't they?
Well, that's where they got the pig from.
Hey, you know what?
No.
No, but he did know that young farmer. That could well be it.
Yesterday saw the start of a brave new world. Today might see it end.
Oh, how did you know
Oh,
that was
it'd be-
coming?
Deserted.
It'd be really funny to start
Everyone's
a
home.
podcast with that.
Just
It'll be really clever. But it feels a little bit on the nose, to be honest.
Yeah. This is that scene he was just doing there. Feels like Cillian Murphy could have just started walking down the street.
Oh no. Oh no, not this woman. Oh no. Oh.
Close up, close up, close up, close up, close up, close up. No, further away. What?
They're gonna do it. No, they are gonna do it. They will.
Humanity's first interplanetary war begins.
Why is there an interplanetary war so soon?
Also, why are they not changing their clothes? They must stink.
It's a really good
Look at
point.
them.
The telephone is actually red.
Oh, do you see he's got the electric guitar in the corner? As she walked round and Tony Blair famously played electric guitar. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that's amazing!
All right, Doctor.
And look, there's the ecstasy that he would have taken, am I right?
Sure, Skittles. All right.
Voicemail dooms us all.
Just get out of
I don't remember her saying voicemail
No.
dooms us all. That's such a great quote.
Then why do we... Doctor?
His jumper is black now.
Weird.
Yeah, I thought that.
Because it's all about death.
This is my
Do you think they have changed it for this scene?
I think he has a multicoloured jacket that changes based on his mood.
Nobody else will.
Harriet Jones, MP for Flydale North.
Yeah, well, I'm the president of the world, you idiot.
Yeah, not yet.
Is he not?
No, he's not president of the world until Capaldi.
I thought, yeah, but well, they just did that on a whim
Yeah.
with him. Jesus Christ, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Victory should be naked. Now, I don't know what to read into that.
Now, I mean, yeah, it's a bit kind of dominant, isn't it?
I don't really know what that means.
I think that would be awesome on a poster. If I ever had a Slovene poster, I would want it to say "Victory should be naked." He's got such a cool hacking computer.
Because he spends his whole time playing video games, and it now pays off.
He's the guy in the van.
Yeah. This is like playing Armour 2.
I could stop you.
Oh, I love this.
Do it then.
Oh, calls her bluff so hard.
Also, because she can't do anything.
Yeah, because he's got a...
Because Mickey
Baseball
is a
bat.
badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He can just
And
turn
the
his
vinegar,
hands
just throw
into
some
big
vinegar in her
clubs.
face.
In your hands.
Vinegar solves all of life's problems.
Decision. I'm not going to die.
This is classic.
Yes, this is so
I've learned
educational.
so much about this. Yeah.
No, yeah. Now, whenever I go anywhere small, I think I'm safe.
Where's the cupboard and where are the
It's
towels?
small. Yeah, exactly. It's small, so it's strong. But it's
Yeah.
true, isn't it? Literally, I always think, whenever I go anywhere new, if there was a bomb, where would I stand?
Yeah.
And I think, it's small, so it's strong.
Releasing the codes.
Which is also great news for men everywhere.
Oh, you never know what the Prime Minister gets up to in his
Oh,
time.
this looks rubbish here. Yeah, exactly. It's like what have I walked in on?
It looks like the missile's going sideways. Like
Yeah.
it's drifting.
No, those effects look rubbish. That bit, I understand. It does look rubbish. Again, I bet we're near the end of this.
Close
It really
the
doesn't
door.
feel like we are.
Close the door! No. Should probably close the door.
Hannibal.
Now, what word do you think we're going to say? I think
Bollocks.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Because for
classic.
some reason they can say bitchy trampoline, but they can't say bollocks.
Yeah.
Now, a bollock is also a word for a cow, and that guy used to sleep with a young farmer. He also was probably the provider of the pig, as we've decided this episode.
Yeah.
A coincidence? I think so.
I think not.
Maybe you should have a go.
Me? I'm only a backbencher.
I'd vote for you.
Now don't be silly.
I vote for you, but I punch everyone I saw in the voting place.
Yeah, also I spent half my time on alien planets, so I'm probably not going to be around to vote for you. So actually, yeah, don't run.
Yeah, so this
no
isn't a
point.
real thing. I like your
No.
Facebook page, maybe.
Yeah. She doesn't look very tired.
Elected for 3 successive
Nah, she's well up for it.
Yeah, she's what now? Hello, boys!
Who is shouting? Who is this woman?
Arrest her, she's crazy.
Yeah.
You should be given knighthoods.
You will be given a knighthood.
Does things. No fuss, you just.
Foreshadowing.
Wait. Do they?
It's not that bad if
Yeah,
you
from Queen
Oh,
Victoria.
yes they do.
Yeah,
So they actually technically they've already been knighted.
technically, yeah.
For all I know, he eats grass and safety pins and things. He'll have shepherd's pie.
It's like Beaker from the Muppets.
You're gonna cook for him. What's wrong? You're not too old for a slap, you know.
She slaps everyone.
Well,
She,
yeah,
it
the
must have
Doctor
been
isn't
quite
too old for a
hard
slap,
growing up
so-
around her.
I told you.
Yeah, she just slaps everyone. And Rose calls everyone gay. It's a really horrible household.
I love how she's got the little image of TARDIS on her phone.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's pretty cool though that they bothered to do that.
I can travel through space and time and haven't got a phone.
Yeah, and I
It looks
dance.
like it's from the 1990s.
Yeah.
Just got to send out this dispersal. There you go.
Oh, this is a beautiful bit of music. Which really, by the way, reminds me of the Prisoner of Azkaban video game.
Yes, it
The
does.
way the
when you're
piano
out in the
sounds.
grounds.
Yes.
Oh. bit
Oh,
of child labour.
now he's sitting on the bin. He is. No, it's all about the bins. He's growing.
He's defeated his biggest fear.
It's true though, and when I watched it last time,
Yeah.
I noticed that he's because remember, Glenn, he's been in a bin. Yeah, in the first episode he was in the bin. Now he's on top of that bin.
Yeah.
Absolute growth. Absolute growth.
No chance. He's liability. I'm not having him on board.
We'd be dead without him.
My decision is final.
It's a great bullet taking there.
It's such top lad bullet taking. I really rate that.
I think who do you think's a better bro of the Doctors, Mickey or Rory?
Oh, don't.
It's tricky.
Very different. They've both got the same relationship.
Well, yeah, it's sort of similar.
The difference is, I know they are actually both very critical of the Doctor, but the difference with Rory is that Rory wins the romantic interest, but Matt Smith is not interested in Amy. That's the point.
No. Well, Matt Smith seems most of the time incapable of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that's Moffat's big move, really. It's one of his big moves, one of his big changes from Davies. Oh no, he goes back and he sits back on that bin. The boy who waited.
Yeah. What he knows best.
He loves bins. Where you been?
I'm not goodness. No, I'm not even going to watch this preview. I actually can't do it because it's too good.
I'm going to pause it as well.
I can't watch it.
I paused it as well.
No. It's too much.
To be fair, I'll tell you something about that episode we just watched. I don't remember it being that as good as it was. It's actually completely solid. I remember it kind of being not as good as the first part. The difference is it's not as populist as the first half. First half is great, and it's great pop Doctor Who, but this episode isn't pop Doctor Who. It really isn't. It's much more Moffat-y, and the character moments are much more nuanced. Well, it's always quite nuanced, but there's more nuanced character moments in here because the plot allows for it almost all to be character moments. Still with a great villain.
Yeah, I think the first part was definitely a lot more politically motivated for a start.
Well,
I think that's probably what you mean by saying it's pop. It's a pop one. Well, I think so because it's.
I think he makes more of his points in this episode. He makes a lot more of his. So what you said about Harriet Jones being the voice of Russell, also the speech to the news being very reminiscent of Blair's action against going into the Iraq War. I actually think there's more in this that I would say is politically motivated. Actually, but we can disagree.
I don't. Okay, it's probably equal on that front, but I mean the last episode was more political because it was about showing how the aliens turned up and everything. It was relatively Doctor light, whereas the Doctor spent half the time just playing catch up to what was going on. Whereas this episode was actually about the Doctor, and you don't see you see way more of the Slitheen, I think, in the first episode.
You don't see.
It was actually they're just enacting the plan that's more or less set out in the first.
Well, though, with great moments,
the grisling details.
The first 10 minutes where they're chasing them around is really good. The bit where they're hiding behind the curtains is so creepy and horrible. It really is
very weird,
very unsettling.
It is very unsettling.
It's literally predatory. It is literally predatory, and they do relate it to sex.
Sort of. It is unsettling. However, it's not scary. They're not a very scary villain. They're based on being sort of disgusting more than anything.
Yeah.
Just because like you say, they discuss hunting like it's sort of a sort of weird obsession.
Yeah, and they must be naked for it. You know, if you heard humans talk about that, you'd think, well, you're just pervert, aren't you?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they sound like.
Yeah, which is why it's so unsettling.
Yeah. But I think, okay, fine. The actual in-your-face political messages are, thrown in your face a bit more in this episode.
But only twice. It's not like watching Arachnids in the UK.
No, thank God for that. Yeah. Imagine that. But this episode was almost all of it in one room or two. It was between the cabinet room and Mickey's flat.
Yeah.
Which is surprising, and it goes by so quickly. It's really surprising.
These last two episodes have both felt, if I put them together, they felt like half an hour overall for a two-parter.
Yeah,
the pacing
is paced perfectly.
Yeah, because there's no wasted moment, and because there's no wasted moment, your brain doesn't have time to think about what you're doing later in the evening. You're just hooked in. You're just there.
I think the thing I've been most impressed by in this two-parter, weirdly, has been the dialogue. And that is not just because of a reaction to, current Doctor Who, but every single scene of characters talking to each other about everything that's going on is dealt with so well. And even characters like Jackie, who at half the time I want to punch in the face, you sympathise with.
Oh, she's great.
That may just be me.
Yeah, but I mean, she's a character you're meant to want to punch in the face, really. Give her a slap. Anyway, that sounded really horrible, but it was a reference.
Well, she has mentioned on numerous occasions now hitting people.
Yeah, you're very violent, old woman, aren't you?
Yeah, it turns out the Tylers are just intrinsically violent
Well,
people.
they do have a shared trauma related to a violent incident. Maybe that's why.
Maybe, but Pete wasn't very violent.
No, but he was.
Pete was a very big softie.
Yeah, he was pathetic, and he slept around.
Well, I guess. And then also he was slapped by a car, so maybe that's what Jackie's now trying to pay back for. I'll admit that was a bit of a stretch, but
there's so many times in this podcast where I have to not say certain things. You went there, well played. Yeah. So I agree. The dialogue's so impressive. I mean, Doctor Who. I mean, everything lives on its dialogue. Don't get me wrong, but Doctor Who especially, like historically, because of there being so many times in the show's history where the BBC hasn't wanted to give it a budget which it deserves. Doctor Who has had to survive on its dialogue and ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily this series has great budget and great dialogue.
Yeah.
And these two episodes really show off the budget and the dialogue. Yeah. Especially Aliens of London for budget and this one for dialogue. Like, I mean, it's superb. I do agree.
It shows how good the casting is.
Oh yeah, well, you've got great casting. You've got Chris Eccleston and Penelope Wilton in the same thing. That's already pretty good. But also, can we talk about? I mean, this is a small point, but having Andrew Marr in there, it actually does.
Yeah.
No, but it does.
Doctor Who always does that.
But having it done at this point is a big deal because the show's getting back going and it's making it feel like a cultural institution again. So and also it helps the whole fear become more believable if you have real news reporters on there. Also Matthew Baker.
Yes, it's the most real feeling. Actually, it's the most domestic Doctor Who episode possibly. Well, certainly of Rusty Davis's thing. He's an auteur of domestic drama and everything. This is like probably the quintessential example of that. Like there are elements of other episodes where it comes in, but this one is full on. Completely grounded.
I actually think a lot of
TARDIS is hardly used.
Yeah, I think a lot of T. Davies' best work is when he does that, the domestic thing. Yeah. I mean, so the parting of the ways that he does tie in the domestic. Also, the sound of
not very much.
The sound of the drums and Last of the Time Lords is sort of very domestic.
Well, Sound of the Drums is.
Yeah, and also Wilf,
Sound
by
of the
the
Drums
way,
is
as a character.
Oh yeah,
So what I'm saying is a lot of his great elements are, doing that.
But I think this, as I said last episode, this episode watching that has solidified that this definitely was the template for Russell's sort of present day Earth based episodes.
Oh yeah. This is
because it worked. It's so well.
If we were talking about the series up to this point so far, and someone said, "What is the most atypical Russell T thing in the first half of this series?" I would still say this. I would maybe even argue. I mean, Dalek maybe, but I mean, this is so typical Russell T Davies era.
Yeah.
But done well.
I think also this episode, weirdly, even though it's so amazing, I think is part of the reason why some people have either willfully or unwillingly forgotten about the First Doctor's entries, because you don't hear many people talk about Exton series, and I think the very weird kookiness of it is sort of, for some people, hard to handle. Probably because it relates a lot to, old Who, and it can be quite hard for people to swallow.
Cassandra and Slitheen are very kind of like kind of mental and kind of strange villains that you might get in, say, the McCoy era with people like the Candyman, who, by the way, is terrifying and is done really well, but it's obviously like just a Bertie Bassett guy. So it's really freaky. But the Slitheen, for me, I think are most similar to the Zygons. I think that's the classic Who villain they're most similar to. They've got amazing prosthetic design, but also they changed the way they work, obviously, so that their shape shifting is with the suits. The suits are what make them really cool. It's the most iconic thing about them.
I think, basically, you may have said this last time, but the reason they probably didn't go for it is because they wanted the stereotypical looking alien. If they went straight to Zygons in the 4th episode of Doctor Who's reboot, it would have felt like they were pandering, and that's exactly what he was trying to avoid.
And they've already brought back the Autons.
True, but
they do it in such a subtle way.
Different way.
It's such a subtle way, and it's more like you're not. It's not so much an Auton story in the way that you're watching the Doctor and how he works out how to defeat them necessarily, because you're kind of on Rose's side of it. You're seeing it through Rose's eyes, so she doesn't.
There's not
see the
exactly
whole
much
story.
to say about the Autons. There's not that much to explain. They're plastic. They're living plastic.
Yeah, they're living. They're living plastic.
They're not a
and
very
they've got
complicated
guns
villain to explain.
No, but they're really cool. So
whereas if you
use
try to explain the
perfectly.
Zygons to people,
Yeah, exactly.
they're a much more complicated villain.
Hence, I think Moffat handles the Zygons excellently over the. So using Day of the Doctor to introduce them as an idea and getting people more up to date on what they are, and also it is kind of a three-parter. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For those sections. But so yeah, villain wise, the thing I was saying about this series was that really the Daleks and the Reapers are probably the only sort of villains in Doctor Who that feel sort of like serious sci-fi villains and not very, Russell T Davies era Doctor Who mad.
Well,
because got the Slitheen, the Gowth, the Autons, the Jaggerfest, they're all absolutely bonkers, but they come across well because it's handled well, which is not an easy thing to do. But they are, insane.
watching
the scenes where they're, walking around the room squatting and talking about, flesh and smelling adrenaline. It's completely mad, and it's kind of hard to digest as a non-child in some ways.
I love it
because it feels like sort of childhood horror, like I'm coming to get you.
No, but
kind of vibes the whole thing.
Yeah, but I find that creepy. I do genuinely find them just really creepy and horrible. I think the Slitheen are great. I don't think we need to look for reasons why they're not good, because they are good. And
I didn't say they weren't.
Cool. Also, I actually do think the Reapers are really weird, but I think basically every villain in the series is pretty weird. I mean, the Daleks are made even more insane. Like, that's the thing that he does with them.
You can talk... Right, what I mean is you can talk about the Reapers without having to make a funny face. Like, you can describe to someone what the Reapers do, and you'll be like, oh, wow, that's really serious. If you have to explain the Slitheen, at some point you have to laugh, or just go, oh, yeah, no, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah,
because they're so weird.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
At a push, the Gowth, I guess, is a little bit serious, but the way they're handled in the episode is just so funny with the zombies and everything that you can't help but draw attention to it.
Yeah, but they're awesome.
But, yeah, of course they are. No, and the Slitheen are awesome. I wish they hadn't... It's so bizarre that they feature in 3 episodes in this series.
They are done really well when they come back, though.
Yeah, no, it is. However, I don't like their use in. Is it the Sarah? Yeah, it is the Sarah Jane Adventures.
I think they're really good.
I think this is
I think their first appearance Sarah Jane's good. The problem is, in fact, I think both times they're in Sarah Jane's good. No, but the problem is that they're in it too much. So they make the Blaverine as well, which are like the Slotheens, the other family who are mobsters who don't like the Slovene, and they basically just spray painted their suit.
It comes down to the fact that Sarah Jane Adventures isn't that great, to be honest. I'm probably not actually having a go at the Slovene there.
That's just your opinion. I think Sarah Jane is overall a 7.
It's fine if you're a child.
No, it's still really watchable because I rewatched it. I literally rewatched it last year.
It's bearable.
There's some really good stuff in there. I'll stand up for it until I die. Because
the writing is not great.
No, that's not true. It is really good.
And the childhood actors are passable.
One of them is bad. No, Clyde is actually genuinely an excellent performance.
Clive's all right.
He's brilliant.
Yeah, he's fine.
No, he's great. You're being wrong.
I don't know.
You're wrong.
No, I just don't like Doctor Who spin-offs. I don't see what the point of it is. You're not with the Doctor. What's the point?
Because
he is the centre of the universe.
Sure,
if I'm not looking at that, then I'm looking away from all of the great things.
That's like saying, well, I have a companion. Because all the companions are good characters. So it's interesting to watch those characters.
Because they're chosen by the Doctor.
No, see, I think that you watch...
All the people in the spin-offs are the rejects. They're the people the Doctor didn't decide to take with him because he doesn't care.
That's not true.
It's like, oh... Yeah, it is
Doctor
true.
is such an interesting and absolutely expansive world that it is interesting to watch the other stuff. It's, no, it's like, why would you play Jedi Fallen Order? Luke's not in it. That's like what you're saying.
It's not Doctor Who. No, because Doctor Who, shockingly, is not, I don't think, is all about the lore, because it isn't.
I think the lore in Doctor Who is amazing. It's really interesting.
No, because every episode, Doctor Who thrives because it is a new idea pretty much every episode. It's riffing. And the thing is, unlike
don't
a lot
get
of
me
other
wrong,
shows,
Doctor Who is better than everything else.
No, but my point is the fact that they change something that's new every episode, and the fact that, a lot of the time it's a miss, it doesn't work, doesn't matter to the show. Unlike other shows, Doctor Who survives because it always changes. Whereas if you just sit in the same place doing mundane stuff, it doesn't matter. And that's what I mean. Doctor Who's not about the extended universe, because half the time, if you even put a tiny comb through Doctor Who, you find problems in its plot and its lore, and it doesn't matter, because all that matters is the adventures that the Doctor has. So that's why spin-offs are pointless. Don't bother watching.
You haven't
Who.
haven't seen Torchwood, so you just can't make that claim.
I've seen bits of it.
Yeah, but you haven't seen it properly. It's superb.
I haven't seen the entire episode. I've seen all the scenes where Jack and Martha are talking together, and honestly, all of the charisma of those two characters is sucked out of the room without the Doctor being there.
No, it's really good.
It's all just wink to camera stuff. Like, oh, do you remember us? We did a thing. Oh, remember when the Doctor was here? Yeah, that was fun. No, he's not here. Never mind. Nah, can't be bothered. Anyway, so we talk about this episode.
Yeah, I think this is just a disagreement that's going to happen.
I think something interesting that we made an admittedly rather long comparison between Margaret and Margaret Thatcher, whereas actually a lot of people have pointed to Harriet Jones as being supposedly a representative of the Margaret Thatcher character. The whole Britain is brilliant and will survive on her own merits.
She becomes that, doesn't she, when she basically does the Belgrado. Is that the name of the ship? Where the Sycorax...
Belgrano.
That's it. Where the Sycorax are turning around. Yeah, and they're going to fly away, but she blows them up anyway. And that is... We don't know for sure, but
I don't think that is...
What might have happened.
What happened.
But that's what a lot of people thought happened.
Yeah. Okay.
So it is.
I don't really know, but this episode, even before that happens, people did get that impression from her. So it's funny, but I mean, it may not have been.
But maybe that's just because it's like, it's a woman. So.
Well, because if you managed for some bizarre reason to get two British people in an argument about Thatcher, which isn't difficult, you will probably hear the two sides of the argument. That will probably one of them will describe Thatcher as being like Harriet Jones, and one will describe them as being like Margaret.
Yeah.
So it's very possible. I'm not claiming that Rusty Davies is this intuitive, but he may have written them like that. You never know.
Yeah, maybe.
To show the two sides. They don't really have much time together.
Those two?
Do they? Harriet and Margaret.
Like one little
You've
bit.
probably seen them together. Yeah.
She spends most of her time in the closet, screaming at Margaret because she's so terrified of her alter ego.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
As the milk snatcher.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so shall we do our usual wrap up? Shall we say best scene, best performance, who isn't the Doctor? Do we always discount the companion when we do that, by the way?
Yeah, Doctor and Rose don't count in it because they're always in episodes. So you go on, then you go first.
Okay.
Scene, performance, and whatever the other one was.
Okay.
I can't even remember what you said. You've thought of this list. I don't remember what it was.
We do it every week. I'm trying to think of what the best scene is. I bet you know. Go on.
What the best scene is?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the scene where the Doctor is talking Mickey through the launch process, because it's the turning point in Mickey and the Doctor's relationship, which is a really important point because it's where the Doctor realises that Mickey is actually completely competent and capable of doing things that he thought he was never, because the Doctor considers Mickey to be a coward, essentially, and not worthy of his time, whereas actually Mickey fights off Jackie for him, does exactly what he's supposed to, he does it competently, and when push comes to shove, he does exactly what he's supposed to.
Yeah.
And the Doctor ends up being extremely proud of him for it. And it's a really tense scene as well.
I see. If it was just, I think you might be right objectively. My favourite scenes are the bit where the Slovene talk in the lift, and he's like, "Victory must be naked," and all that kind of stuff's great. And then the other scene I really love is the bit. Like, the moment of this I really love is when Mickey says he doesn't want to come with him, and then Eccleston takes the bullet for him, and it's their first bro moment. It's very emotional. But
that's what I mean. That's from the start, from when he first sees him in the TARDIS in Aliens London to the end of World War III. That turning point is in the scene, I thought. But any scene with the Doctor and Mickey, I would happily accept as being the best scene because they work so well together, especially Eccleston and Mickey, I think.
Oh yeah.
Because they still don't exactly like each other.
No, but
they've just finally got a mutual respect. Mickey's okay with Rose leaving with him as well.
Yeah.
Which obviously he was absolutely mortified at the idea of before.
I don't think he's
Whereas
quite.
now he's okay with
he's
it.
not quite okay. He's accepting. I wouldn't say he's okay. He's accepting. You know, still quite. He still feels sad when he just goes back to sit on that bin.
It's only because he's terrified of doing it himself. Really,
I don't think that. I think it's because he wants her back.
Well, maybe
he's sad. He's kind of moping. He's not strong enough to.
True. However, what Rose has been trying to say, although obviously retrospectively she's lying, is that the Doctor's not her boyfriend. So I think his sort of paranoia has sort of gone down, because that's what characterised him in Aliens of London.
I know.
He's become this dishevelled mess who thinks everyone's out to get him, that everyone's everywhere. Oh, these aliens are everywhere. This is awful. They've taken our women. You know, whereas now he's like, okay, you know, fine, I admit it.
Here's my woman.
You're just friends. Here's my woman. Yeah. These aliens are looking at my emails.
Yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah. I know Anna's not here, but when I've watched episodes of Rose Doctor Who with Anna, she's always said that she actually thinks Rose isn't a very nice person because of the way she treats Mickey and stuff. I find it very interesting.
She lies.
She's a very flawed character because she is very unkind to Mickey. She lies a lot.
She's a manipulator.
And
she's a classic manipulator of people. Both the Doctor, Jackie, and Mickey.
Yeah, and she's very rude as well sometimes. You'll see that with Tennant, when she kind of gets to that kind of Clara stage of thinking she can be like the Doctor. When she's towards the end of series 2, I think like Rose becomes a bit of a rude character.
Yeah, I think also interesting. It's funny you say that because I never really thought about it. But basically, ever since the start of episode Rose, she thinks that the world revolves around her.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the point. Basically, every character is fighting over her in most situations of tension. It's because they're fighting over Rose.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she's a 19-year-old who doesn't have a job and doesn't have any qualifications. She might be good at gymnastics, but whatever. You know, she doesn't know how to handle herself. And obviously, they all think they can take care of her better than each other. So that probably creates a bit of a horrendous complex in Rose's mind.
Coming of age story, isn't it? This whole Doctor and Rose thing, which carries on from obviously his relationship with Ace in the Seventh Doctor, which is definitely kind of what they're riffing on.
But Rose has to grow up a lot because Rose has to eventually take responsibility for herself, which she doesn't do very much. Whenever those arguments are happening, she's just sort of stood there doing very little.
She just takes it.
Like when Jackie's asking the Doctor if she'll be saved, you know, Rose doesn't go in to defend the Doctor, saying, "No, I jump with it. I'm the one being irresponsible."
If you notice her facial expression, she's kind of just watching the Doctor to see what he'll say, and she actually looks very smitten with him in the shot. If you feel like going back and looking at that shot, trust me, she just looks. Because I guess it's like a kind of older man thing. I don't know, but maybe
well, she's just acting like a pouty child.
Yeah,
she still acts very childish in this. It's funny, having watched, you know, obviously later Doctor Who more recently, you sort of considered her to always be this sort of wise and
like if you watch Turn Left or something.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas actually she's still losing it. I think the next episode may be where that particular aspect of her character changes because she has to fend for herself.
Oh yeah,
completely.
and then she has to kind of go for a kind of fling thing with Adam, and then obviously by the end, it's really by the end of the series. That's her arc this series. I think she's a much more capable by next series. So next episode we're going to be introduced to possibly the best element of the series and also possibly the worst, which I'd forgotten about. No, Adam is purposefully the worst. That's the point.
Yeah, maybe.
No. It's not a maybe. He's there so that all of the new viewers can understand the Doctor's relationship with the companions. That's the point.
In Dalek, in the long game, less.
No,
so,
the long game is the whole point of the long game is showing the kind of companion that the Doctor takes. And I remember as a child, you know, kind of thinking, you know, it's a certain caliber of person the Doctor takes. It's not a maybe. I feel so strongly about this.
Well, we'll see, won't we?
I think Adam's a good element. I don't know what the best scene is, so I'm just going to agree with you, because genuinely this whole thing is just pretty solid. Also, I think the best performance by by not Rose or Doctor is... Well, to be fair, I wouldn't even say Rose was the best performance in this anyway, if we were talking about it. Because it's Eccleston. But is it Mickey? Or...
I think it's Harriet Jones.
Dude, I'm going to go with Noel Clarke as Mickey.
Okay. Who's Harriet Jones? I forget the name.
Penelope Wilton. To be fair, it could be. Wilton. Nah, to be fair, I'm actually going to go with you because
Well, I don't mind, but she
did enough to warrant coming back. And the thing is, I feel like the public. I remember being a kid, and as kids, we all wanted the Slitheen to come back, and we all wanted Harriet Jones to come back. It's very strange that it felt very certain that Harriet Jones must come back at some point as a child.
Mm.
It's very strange.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
All right. So that episode, what do we give the last episode? I actually can't remember.
Gave it a mid-8 out of 10, and I think you gave it a mid to high. I think
I just agreed with you on mid.
I don't. So I think this is exactly as good as last episode.
So out of 10, we'd give this
a mid-8.
Also a mid-8.
It's just a solid, excellent episode of Doctor Who.
However, as a two-parter, I'd be pushing this as a 9 because its significance in Doctor Who, I'm going to say canon with massive inverted commas, is a really big deal and really iconic. And it's strange to say it, but I think as just a full story, it's so well crafted that I might give it a 9 as a whole.
When you said that, my legs went hard. Like they still
as long as it's your legs, that's fine.
No, honestly, like, because it's so true. Because the weird thing is, taken on their own, they're both ain'ts, but as a whole, they might well.
It's a movie. It's a short movie.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It might well be a low 9, and for Doctor Who's at its best, and I think Moffat and Gatiss have both said this. Like, the pressure of writing Doctor Who is you have to write a movie every week. This is a great great movie.
And this is an absolute hit. They absolutely do it.
Yeah, smashed it. Yeah. They smashed it. They proved that Doctor Who could be kind of blockbuster levels.
They have their hand on the pulse of the nation in the early 2000s.
They do.
In a surprisingly scary way.
Yeah.
In how apt it is.
So I give both episodes a mid-8, and overall I'd give the whole thing a low 9.
I fully agree with you.
Mad.
Superb. How about that? This has been Out of 10. Thank you so much for listening, and I can only apologise for how much of your time we've wasted. You may be shocked to learn that we're actually very new to this, so we appreciate any listeners. If you do want to debate our ridiculous arguments or make a suggestion for what we should talk about next, drop a comment below, or find us on Twitter at hour_10. Alternatively, you can send us an email at out10podcast@gmail.com. See you soon.
I think this watch